What's up everybody, welcome back to Krebs Block Racing and part 4 on the 128i series. We're going to be focusing a little bit more on the details of the car. We're going to dive into suspension a little bit more, get that front end handling a little bit better. It tends to push a lot, so we're going to try to get that out of the way. Concentrate on cooling, maybe get a little bit more power, and then also the wheel and tire setup. So hopefully we can gain a few more seconds on the BIR trip this spring. The first mod we're going to do is an oil pan baffle from Condor Speed Shop. We need to take the oil pan off, as you see here, get it all cleaned up, grind a couple areas on it, and then we're going to weld in an oil pan baffle. There are 2 trap doors that come with this. We need to spot weld both of those onto the baffle and then install the baffle into the oil pan and weld it all together. Now this is a 2-piece baffle. I'm pretty sure it's just for shipping. So the bottom piece comes in first with the 2 trap doors on it, and then there's a top cover that goes on top. And there's specific spots that you need to weld on. They give you some pretty good instructions online that you can follow. And it shows you exactly where you need to tack each spot. You need to weld the baffle to the pan, and then you can weld the 2 pieces of the baffle together. Now the pan with the new baffle was a little bit difficult to get back into place. You kind of had to turn the pan a certain way in order to get the pickup to go into the baffle. Did end up getting it on the 3rd or 4th try. Just took a little finagling, but got it up in there. Now you probably don't have to do this, but just for a little added safety, I'm going to turn the car over a few times without firing it, just so we can build up some oil pressure. Next up, we're going to be installing a 135i oil cooler. So you need the oil filter housing and then the lines along with the cooler. You do have to bend the AC lines out of the way just a little bit to get the lines to go through there, but it mounts right up in front of the passenger side tire. I also did have the inner fender wells from the 135i, which was an M Sport, so it does come with brake ducts and the oil cooler shroud, which directs air right into it. This should help out with some brake cooling along with helping out with oil temps. I need to thank Fortunato for sending me a set of their coilovers. I sent my old set in, they were a Gen 7 set, and they revised these. So these have different pistons. They have the Gen 8 piston, which is a new CFD design. Revised a little bit, should handle the bumps a little bit better. I really need to thank Fortunato for helping me out over the years. They never disappoint, so I'm looking forward to this. Now it's time to get these coilovers set up on the car. If you guys are interested in how to set up Fortunatos on your own car, I did a previous video where I did a deep dive into how to set them up. Everything from setting your ride height, adjusting your spring preload, whether or not you need take-up springs, adjusting bump and droop travel, basically everything you need to know to get these set up correctly on your car. If you guys are interested in that, I'll leave a link in the description for that video. One thing we need to set up right away is our camber adjustment. This is all the way in. As you can tell before, we were trying to get more camber out of this car. I have one of these on the car already, so I notched out part of the strut tower to allow the top hats to go all the way over. So the camber is maxed out on the top hat of the Fortunato plate. And it's just kind of ground around, made a hole there. Make a little bit more room. Should be about another degree of camber. We'll see what it is when we go get an alignment. Also, in order to run this much camber, because we have it notched over like that, you do have to bend over this brake line bracket, otherwise we'll hit this little fuse box here. So make sure you bend that in so you have clearance behind there. One of the biggest upgrades we're doing this year is a new set of tires. I went with the Bridgestone RE71 RS's in 225, 45, 17. It's the same size as our Kumo V730s, but these are a much faster tire and should help us get a little bit closer to that sub 100 second standing start. So let's get these all mounted on the car, and we can head off to the alignment rack and see how much camber we gained up front with the new settings. It's time to hit the alignment rack and see what kind of improvements we made. If you guys remember last year, our tire wear was a little bit off. We were wearing the outside of the tire. It was heating up just a little bit too much, so we wanted to add more camber, and this is what we ended up getting. If you can look to the left, our before measurements are 2.6 front, and on the right afterwards, with cutting out the strut just a little bit and maxing out camber on the Fortunato plate, we ended up with about 4 degrees of negative camber. With the McPherson type suspension in the front, that's about what you want to be at, about negative 3.5, negative 4, somewhere in there. The only real way to know is to take tire temps and test, but we're going to try this out and see how it works. Now I really want to get that sub 100 second run on standing start, so I spotted the anti-gravity battery sitting in the Evo. It wasn't doing anything, so I decided to throw it in the trunk, mounted it up, save us about 45 pounds or so. Just anything we can do to try to get that sub 100 second run. Now we're just down to buttoning everything up for the track day. We need to mount the splitter. We also need to get fresh brake fluid in. If you're going any more than a couple weeks in between track days, you really should change out your brake fluid. So we're going to put in 2 brand new bottles of Hawk brake fluid. We're also going to change out the engine oil for Motul. The same stuff we've been running for the last few years. It's treated me well. After the last finishing touches, we're ready for North Star Speed Summit.
Last one.
Yep. Need a 41.3.
Alright guys, welcome to North Star Speed Summit. This is day 1 autocross. I'm only going to show you guys my fastest times of the day for day 1 and day 2 on autocross. First notes, you will notice that the car is handling much better now. I cannot for the life of me get a car to rotate on corner entry, but it is much improved. We have a lot more front grip than we had before. The car handles a lot better. You'll see that in the results when I show you at the end of the video. The car is actually becoming somewhat competitive, so I hope you guys enjoy. This is my last run, and we're only sitting 0.4 of a second behind first place overall for fastest time of the day. So let's see if we can put down a good run and get close.
Oh man, that was so close. That was a good run. 41.6. We were about 0.2 away from getting FTD. Nice job, little BMW.
These are the results for the day 1 autocross. As you can see, we placed 6th place out of 118 cars. One guy I referenced before is Joel Krantz in the S2000. We finally got ahead of him. We were always behind by a few seconds when we started this series a couple years ago. So the car is feeling much better. The front end is a lot more planted and direct. You can change direction a lot better. Just makes it a lot more enjoyable to have that extra camber up front.
Oh, we're damn close.
This is my last run of the day 2 autocross. Right now we're sitting in 3rd place, I believe. The last 2 runs I coned at a 37.0. First place is sitting with a 36.7, so we only need a few tenths. Let's see if we can catch up to him.
28. Got into the 36s. Not FTD though, but pretty close. About 3/10 behind, or 2/10.
On to the autocross results for day number 2. As you can see, we just missed out on FTD by a couple tenths again. Last run was our fastest. That's kind of my thing. I tend to get faster and faster throughout the day. Both days, I got my fastest run on my last run. Joel ended up getting us in the end, but a pretty big win for the car. I'm feeling pretty optimistic on the standing start time, so let's get to the big track. Alright, it's time for the standing start shootout. Conditions are absolutely perfect today. It's about 65 degrees and overcast. We did some sessions earlier in the day and everything was feeling really good. It's time to see what we can put down for a lap. Come on, baby. We're right there. 100.06. Can you believe it?
66.
0.66?
100.0 or 100.66, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 06. Oh.
Finally, after 3 years of driving this car at BIR, we broke the 100-second barrier. Pretty much everybody that went to the track that day was setting PRs. The track conditions were perfect, the weather was perfect. Everything worked out just right in order for us to get that 99.8 seconds.
Welcome back to the shop, guys. As you can see, we finally hit our goal of a sub 100 second lap at BIR. We've been trying for 2.5 years to get that, and we finally got down there. Just slowly making progress. A few changes here and there, a few modifications here and there. The conditions were absolutely perfect. I needed basically everything. The new tires, the camber, no sun, the temperature, the track was good. Everything kind of lined up perfectly in order for us to get that 99.87. Any other day, I would assume we wouldn't be able to get it, but it just so happened to be a perfect day at the track. I want you guys to keep in mind that we were only on 225, 45, 17-inch tires. So these are basically pizza cutters for this size of car. So you guys can check out the wear on these things. We got pretty even wear. This is the inside of the tire right here. Just a little bit of tread still, but across all three of these, it's about even on all of them. So that means our camber should be pretty close to what we wanted at. It might be just a little bit of outside wear. If you look at the tires compared to the rim, this is pretty flat. So it's kind of a square setup. We should be on a wider rim. These should probably be on an 8.5 or 9-inch rim. If we were on that, you might have a little less deflection, and this outside might not wear as bad with the same camber. So that's probably our issue right there. -4 degrees is probably enough camber. We just need a different rim for this tire. So to end this series, I kind of wanted to do a review of the car, give you like a 0 to 10 rating of what I think this car is. And I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Right now, when I first bought the car, I would give it like a 4 out of 10. It was pretty slow, had throttle lag and throttle hang when you let off throttle. It felt like a boat. The steering wasn't very precise. In stock form, these cars come with almost no camber up front, especially if you don't have the 1M arms or anything like that. So they're pretty terrible in stock form, taking into account performance, reliability, practicality, all those kinds of things. I'll tell you guys all the stuff I like. First, reliability, number one. I've taken it to the track 6 times. We've done 60 plus laps, I would assume, on the road course. 15 plus autocrosses. Nothing's ever broke on it. I haven't had to fix anything in the engine or anything, other than when I got the car, I had to do various gaskets and stuff like that, but nothing major has broken on the car at all, which is a huge win. Another thing is practicality. I don't daily drive this car, but I drive it quite a bit during the week, go to grocery stores, whatever. It's a fun car to just cruise around in. It's got plenty of room. I even put a 10-inch sub in here, or a 12-inch sub in here, and a full set of golf clubs fit in here as well. It's just a all-around decent car for just daily use. So reliability and practicality or function are kind of the high points of this car for me. The performance is a little bit lower, although we do have it handling pretty well now. There's a lot of stuff that I would fix on it still, or that need to be upgraded. That's why I kind of gave it a little bit of a lower rating. Maybe an 8, but with the performance being where it's at, I would give it a 7.5, and I'll give you guys the negative. And they all kind of combine into one thing, like one thing just leads to another. The biggest thing is the car is a little bit bigger, which I like for daily use, but it's 3,200 pounds. For a race car, that's a little bit heavy, and it only makes 250 horsepower. 250 is fine, but with a car that weighs 3,200 pounds, it's a little bit heavy for that. And then the last thing that combines with all of that is you can't fit a very big tire on this car. So a heavy car with not enough power, and then you can only maybe you could fit like a 245 or 255 on the rear, but you're gonna need a different offset wheel for the front. And the most you can get, I've heard people getting 245s on there or 255s, but I think you have to raise the car up quite a bit. So maybe like a 235 or 245 would fit. That's still a little bit heavy for the tire that you're using, and you're not gonna be able to get it on the rim size that you want. A 245 you're gonna want on like a 10-inch rim, and you're never gonna fit a 245 with a 10-inch rim on the front of this car. Right now this is a 225/40 on an 18 by 8.5, and we have some room right here, maybe an inch. So you might be able to get a bigger tire on it, but I mean this wheel is on the coilover on the inside already. It's super close. So there's really not much room, especially if you went any lower, you would lose even more of that space. So 235 is probably the most you could get on the front of this on like a 9-inch rim. The rear, this is a 245/40. The offset is a little wide for this. You do have more room on the inside, so I would assume you could get 245 on a 10-inch back here, or maybe a 255. But this wheel right here is already rubbing on the inside little lip here. There are various options you can get for this car for fenders and stuff like that, flares, 1M stuff, but that just gets into a whole nother world of you're spending a whole bunch of money for not very much performance. The 1M stuff is very expensive. You have to get it painted. There's a bunch of little parts that kind of nickel and dime you to get all that stuff on the car. So that's why I just haven't gone that route yet. Another thing that I don't like about this car's on-track behavior is the brakes. I have some issue with trail braking. I've mentioned that in previous videos. Whenever I get into a trail braking situation, the car goes into ABS or something, it doesn't want to stop. If you guys look in the video, every time into corner 3 in Brainerd, that's the biggest braking point. We're going from like 125 down to 40 miles an hour. I cannot hit that apex for the life of me. I can't get the braking point right. I can't brake early enough because the car, as soon as I get into trail braking, it just keeps on pushing out, and I can't get down to the apex. I'm not sure what it is. I talked to Fortune Auto, and we only have about 3.5 inches of shock travel. They do have a longer kit that I can get, which I'm gonna order. It'll give me another inch of travel, so we'll have 4.5 inches. My thinking behind that is under braking and turning, we might be lifting that right inside wheel or the passenger side inside wheel, and that's causing like a little ABS hiccup. The car just isn't liking it. So that could be an easy fix. I'm not really sure until we test. So moving forward with this car, I wanna know what you guys think we should do to it next. It's at the point right now where it's a good daily / track use kind of car. It's comfortable. We haven't done bushings, we haven't ruined the ride on the car or anything like that. The 18s are the worst part of the car. As soon as I put those on, the ride gets kind of rough. If I put the stock wheels on this car with the snow tires, I mean, I take it 4 or 5 hours and it's no problem. Set the cruise control, it's nice and comfortable. Still get 25 to 27 miles per gallon, something like that, which is pretty good gas mileage actually. So do we keep it the way it is? I'm kind of debating selling it. I really want to get into like a 1M with a bunch of miles in it or something that nobody cares about that I can take to the track and start modifying. Is kind of where my head's at. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, whether we should keep this or move to a 1M or just do a different project altogether. So thanks for watching everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe and we'll see you guys next time.